Do you know that there's a city in Africa that was so advanced that when the Europeans first saw it, they refused to believe that it was the Africans who built it? They didn't refuse to believe because there was no evidence that it was Africans who built it, but because the evidence was too clear. It was too clear. So what did they do? They destroyed it and rewrote the story. This city was the Great Zimbabwe. The Great Zimbabwe was a city of stone architecture that was so precise. Like, the stone architecture was so precise. It wasn't built with mortar, it wasn't built with cement. They were hand-cut stones that locked together perfectly, like puzzle pieces. Like I'm talking to you here about like advanced engineering. I'm talking about geometry. I'm talking about trading networks. I'm talking about social organization. I'm talking about urban planning built by Africans. This set of people, they were called the Shona people. When archaeologists checked the ruins of this great city, they found Arabian beads, they found Chinese porcelain, they found Persian glass. So what does that tell you? It tells you that they were trading with Arabians, they were trading with the Chinese. So that means they were a global economy that connected East Africa to Asia to the Middle East. The influence was so much that Zimbabwe literally means the house of stone. But when Europeans saw it in the 1800s, 1900s, they could not accept it. They stood in front of undeniable African intelligence. Like they were face to face with African brilliance, and they denied it. Instead of learning from it, instead of trying to see how these things came about, they were like, no, this is impossible. So they rewrote history to protect their own ideology. I mean, just imagine that. Something you could have learned from. You decided, there's no way. There's no way. Early European archaeologists were pressured to report that Great Zimbabwe was built by Arabs. They were pressured to report that it was built by Phoenicians. In fact, some of them said it was built by the lost tribe of Israel. That the people who built the Great Zimbabwe, they were descendants of the Queen of Sheba from the Bible. Can you imagine that? Just because you don't want to believe these people were brilliant. They denied all that because acknowledging African brilliance, acknowledging African intelligence was too dangerous for them. In fact, in 1906, there is an archaeologist named Richard Hill. Right. He literally destroyed layers of artifacts, layers of evidence, because he said, and I quote, "The native African is incapable of building anything more than a mud hut." From a white man saying, nah, Africans cannot build this. So he destroyed everything. But I'm not speaking about this just so to denigrate the Europeans or whatever. I'm speaking about this to help you understand that as a black person, you are intelligent enough, you are smart enough, you are brilliant enough to do amazing things. Africa has turned to that continent that everyone sends aid to. But no, it was never like that. But when it comes to intellect, Africans have been made to believe they are nothing. And if people do not understand what they once built, they start to believe they can't build anything. And it's a lie. They did not erase our history because it wasn't great. They erased it because it was. African history is great, and it still can be if you decide to take up responsibility. Till next time.